Hey, everybody, welcome to the FreeMind Podcast. It's Thursday, January 25th, and we have John Patterson of the founder trio of brothers for Pittsburgh Pickle Company. Let's jump right in and hear John's story.
Yeah, it's very strange how we got from point A to point B. My brothers and I, none of us went to school for anything like this. Both of my younger brothers are accountants. My emphasis was in video production. I had a video company before this, small local company making commercials. My brothers were both accountants, and they were tired of what they were doing, and we decided to open up a bar together. Part of that process, when we did that, we didn't realize that we kind of had to open a restaurant as well. And at that time, this is 2011, we were trying to do our research and figure out what's the best thing to put on a bar menu. And deep fried pickles kept popping up as an item. And one of the things we wanted to do was not do anything frozen. We wanted to make everything from scratch. So we bought a 5-gallon bucket of pickles. We chopped them up, fried them, and they were terrible. So we didn't know what to do. And I thought to myself, well, if we actually made the pickles ourselves, we'd be able to save ourselves some money, and we'd be able to have the product that we wanted. So I bought a bushel of cucumbers and chopped them, sliced them into spears and threw them in a bucket. We didn't have any kind of experience making pickles before that. I just hopped on Google and looked for a quick recipe. We started doing that and serving the spears with our meals at the beer hive, and eventually a customer said, "You guys should think about putting these in a jar." And when they said that, I thought to me, like, wow, like that is kind of crazy to think that we're in Pittsburgh, which is like the birthplace of the mass-produced pickle. And I thought to myself, how is there not a pickle company in Pittsburgh? And from that point on, I couldn't stop my wheels from turning to figure out how to make sure this happened, how to get a pickle company in Pittsburgh representing, the place where it should be. And that's kind of when the light bulb went off was, how the hell we get this done with zero experience, zero money, and not much help along the way.
Absolutely. But I mean, even from that point, I mean, you took that and you've expanded into a product line. You have looks like the Briny Mary, and you have the Pick Elixir, and you have all different variations off of it. I think that's where a lot of people in those types of spaces, in the condiments and those types of areas, and extra add-ons there, they really stay into certain niches. But I think I like the way that you've brought the variety out, and really start to begin to look at food. You start to get into the food service area, things where people are maybe not buying the giant buckets of it, but they're starting to use it for resale and things like that. I see here you have wholesale on there. So talk a little bit about what types of retailers are your targets, and then kind of where you're seeing the most success and where you're surprised to see your product carrying.
Yeah, I mean, in the beginning, it was like, okay, so if we're going to start this pickle company, I'm not going to be driving around town selling pickles out of my trunk for years. If we're going to do this, we have to do it big. So we made a couple test jars. We went to Giant Eagle and said, "Are you interested?" Giant Eagle is the big grocery store chain out this way. They liked the branding and the packaging, and they thought they tasted great, and they said, "Yeah." So we had to hurry up and figure out how to start a pickle company. Fortunately, the church I belong to, the kitchen facility they have wasn't really being utilized at the time. I asked them if we could possibly start production in there, and it was just one stove with five pots on top of it that we would water bath the pickles in. But we started in that in the church, and within time, with getting into Giant Eagle and pushing sales, we were able to quickly save up enough money to put a down payment on a building in the same town, which is in Verona, which is right outside of Pittsburgh. And there was a old pasta factory here in this building that they closed up shop, and the building sat here for a couple of years. And I would drive past it every day, go, "Oh my God, like I gotta buy that building. I know that's the right building to do this in." And it took me about a year and a half to 2 years to work the price down and eventually get our foot in this door. And so from there we realized like retail is where we got to be hitting. That is where the volume is. That's where we saw the money. But you got to sell 1 billion jars to make make money in the pickle business. So we've targeted retail. We have decent distribution now, all through Pennsylvania, New York, Maryland, into Ohio, Delaware, New Jersey, along the East Coast. And we're technically nationwide. We don't have big distribution out west, but the wholesale side of things, the 5-gallon buckets of pickles, that's still a part of the business that we're still trying to grow. It takes a lot of moving parts with refrigeration and shipping and the trucking, and just doing it in that kind of bulk. It's a little tricky, but we're working on trying to figure out how to utilize that side of the business for our benefit much more in the new year coming up.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's you're starting to see it a little bit more coming back now. I know, like, after COVID, a lot of restaurants and on-premise activities kind of peeled back on the craft and high end of the food products to kind of get the margins back they lost during COVID, as far as food service goes. So you're starting to see that a lot more often as people are starting to support each other, and it's a great opportunity of cross promotion on you and their menu, them to promote local items and things like that, and for a placement of a product that they're not usually used to seeing, whether it being, all of our cheeseburgers have local pickles on them, or it's the fried pickle appetizer. You're starting to see that more often. So that's perfect.
I mean, we're literally doing that with the new restaurant we opened up, the Coxcomb, and that menu. And, we're using all of Pittsburgh pickle products on there. We're also utilizing Parma sausage, which is a famous sausage company in Pittsburgh. We're utilizing their meats. We're using Mancini's bread, which is a famous bakery in Pittsburgh. So to what you just said, yeah, we're keeping it local and just keeping the money here.
Absolutely. Tell me a little bit about, and I'm actually my own admittance. I'm a little not knowing of the story of how the pickle had started in that Pittsburgh area there. I knew it was very popular, and with the on-premise area, obviously with the pickle shots and everything like that as well. But so there are origins of pickles to Pittsburgh.
Well, I mean, this is where Heinz started,
Right. Okay, gotcha.
And it's and then that was really in the beginning. Like I was like, wow, like can I almost be like Heinz? Like that seems kind of nuts.
Yeah.
But it was like that kind of those thoughts and that imagery like really kind of drove me. There's a chunk of land that Heinz owned at one point in time that they left as it was land that they had all their female employees go to take breaks in the summer and like a resort. And I just, things like that, I always thought, man, if I could just create a ton of jobs, like if I'm in the business of creating jobs, then I'll be in good shape. And as the years have gone by and the business has, developed the way it has, it's, that doesn't seem like a realistic goal anymore as far as like the labor force and having things done by hand. So we've like pretty much fully automated our system about a year ago. So it was 9 years making them by hand, and just in the past year, we've finally been able to get equipment to really take a lot of the load off our backs. But yeah, I kind of got lost on what was
No, you're perfect there. You're perfect. The from your recipe formulation, kind of on the you have five different styles that rest on the shelf right now as far as the pickles go.
Yeah.
From a funny part there, and when you guys were going through all the different recipe formulations, what was the worst one?
Well, it's like so everyone asks like, well, where did you get the recipe? And I always say Grandma Google. We just kind of went on there and I looked at a bunch of recipes and just kind of figured out, well, how do we, if it's going to be called Pittsburgh Pickle Company, how do we make a pickle that is like in theme and key of the city? So the first flavor we had, we called it Pittsburgh-style. We figured New York City can have their own style pickle. Why can't Pittsburgh? And so I thought, well, what would make it be a Pittsburgh-style pickle? And I thought about how Pittsburghers are. We can be very polite, nice people, but we're very rough around the edges as well. So I thought, what if we make the pickle salty and sweet?
Nice.
And so we kind of like, created a new style of pickle, which really you didn't see a lot of salty and sweet pickles on the shelves. So we started the company with that. And quickly people were like, well, what else do you got? So we had to hurry up and come up with new flavors. And a lot of the asks were, do you just have a garlic and dill pickle? So we made a garlic and dill pickle, just straight up garlic and dill. And then we made, everyone asked for a spicy one. So instead of just making a regular spicy pickle, we made it spicy and smoky. So we added chipotle, which at the time, no one seemed to be doing to pickles. And that pickle was really like one of the most unique pickles you can find on the market. And from there, you need to have a bread and butter. With ours, we used apple cider vinegar as the sweetness and much less, sugar. So it's a healthier bread and butter pickle than you would find on the market. And the last one we call We the Pickle, which is the most like classic style recipe you could kind of come up with, real deli style pickle. And it's just a really great tasting pickle. And we just thought it sounded cool, We the Pickle. And the label is red, white, and blue. From there we developed our pickle juice, which we just saw a lot of other pickle companies coming out with pickle juices, so we thought we got to do the same. And we did ours. We came up with a unique brand. We called it Pick Elixir. Has a really cool label. So we kind of started that as like I don't want to say a joke, but just to see what the hell would happen with it. And that product is taken off like crazy. We ship pallets of that out to to our distributors, and I think a lot of people use it for leg cramps, to be honest, at night. Take a little sip of that before bed, and you kind of you get your salt input, and you don't get leg cramps at night.
Yeah, that's I was having football and wrestling and things like that, and my buddy was huge. This is a long time ago, but but it's he always had a Gatorade behind the sidelines, whether we were wrestling matches or football games, and I never understood it. And he always it was a bottle of pickle juice.
Yeah, right.
Chug it the entire time, and he swore by it.
Yeah, man,
he was convincing of it. So.
It's electricity. I mean, your body needs salt. We get a lot of bad salts in us, but good salt is highly important.
Absolutely. And talk about the PECs that you have. Obviously, that's a variation there on your portfolio line. And what's that line?
Well, so the PECs, sadly, we had to discontinue when we got okay. We got all our new equipment.
I'll cut that out.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, I was looking. I just had the website up on my other monitor here, so
we still have it out there. It's still being sold, but we stopped producing it.
No worries. I'll go in post production and cut that.
Yeah, no worries.
And for the Briny Mary, there, are you guys actively? Is that in the food service realm as well for bars and restaurants to utilize, or strictly in package right now?
Yeah, so I mean, right now we do package it in a 32-ounce bottle that we do. We sell to some of our distributors that turn around and sell it to restaurants and bars that they are using it for food service. But mainly we have that product in all the fine wine and good spirits stores in Pennsylvania, which in Pennsylvania, the liquor system is state owned and run. But we have our Briny Mary product in all those locations. So that product, I feel like we're constantly making it. And it really is. I'm not a Bloody Mary drinker, but that is the best one. It's nuts. Like there's no doctoring. You don't need to do anything to it. And it's something that we developed at our bar, the Beer Hive. And all we really kind of did was add our pickle juice to it. So that's kind of our recipe around here. Just add our pickle juice to it.
Excellent. Tell me a little bit about the dynamics of your company there. So you have an automated operation for the most part now, and then you and a partner, or how many kind of people are in the sounding board here?
I mean, it's me and my two younger brothers that own the Pickle Company, the Beer Hive, and the Coxcomb. At the Pickle Company, we have 3 other employees. One works in the office, and the 2 other guys are out on the floor with us. We're still out on the floor, making product every time we make product. Over the past couple of years, it's been really tough to find labor, and we've just had to save costs as much as humanly possible. Our expenses keep skyrocketing, and so the only way you can really combat that is through payroll. And so that's why we're still working and not paying ourselves. But it's still fairly laborious. There's still a lot of those jars come down the line just like an I Love Lucy episode, and you got to keep going. It still gets 1,000 degrees in here while we're processing, and we're sweating our butts off. And I don't know. It's just, we don't have a lot of people here, but we get tons and tons done.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And as far as the distribution goes, are you all, you said have nationwide distribution, and then as far as, let's say, in the Mid-Atlantic region, are you, which distributors are you with there, so that we have some retailers that are that are listeners of us, that way they can make sure they find you with the right retailer, or excuse me, with the right distributor?
Yeah, I mean, Unify and KeHE are our biggest. McEnany is another local one in Pennsylvania. But yeah, Unify and KeHE kind of get us outside of the region.
All right, perfect. And as far as the like your product just seems like perfect, like you said, in the fine wine and good spirits. Are you also marketing yourself in the independent beer store channel as well, or is that something down the line?
Yeah, it's that maybe outside of Pennsylvania. We do have a beer distributor that does distribute some of our Briny Mary for us. But we're always looking to expand. For us and for me especially, I feel like I take one day at a time. And I don't make any super grand plans set in stone, because everything seems to always change. I mean, things can be shut down overnight, and what can you do about it? So we just keep plugging away and keep looking for avenues to expand and to like reinvent our company. 2 years ago or so, we kind of reinvented the way we cut our pickles. No one else does this in the world, and we kind of trademarked it. But we cut our pickles in a style we call crown cut. It's flat on one side and crinkle cut on the top side. And one day my brother just thought, what if we interchange the blades on the slicer and see what happens? So now our whole theme is, crown your sandwich with a Pittsburgh pickle, crown cut pickle, which, just kind of reinventing the pickle a little bit, which, it's all these little fun things we can keep kind of doing and keep playing with. And it is a fun business to be in, where it's, the thing I like about it most is it's a super wholesome business. It's pickles. Like it's, no one has any kind of like ill will towards pickles, and to be part of that, is important to me. I like the idea that I'm living a life that is, I work hard, and I'm always it's in the key of positive all the time, and just trying to put something good out there for the people, and put my best foot forward, and just make a great effort in this world to just do something that's nice, I guess.
No, absolutely, John, and that's you're exactly right. And I think that there's really a fantastic creativity, and I compliment you guys on taking something that a lot of people don't think about, and making it so, putting a crown on it. That's genius. Taking that concept of, where, let's say, like the condiment sauces and things like that have kind of done their realm, and the hot sauces have done theirs. And I think it's definitely time for that as far as that goes. And tell me a little too, John, about, you said it's you and your brothers that have this business in the bar prior. Were you always with the Beer Hive prior, or what's your line of work leading into your foray into the food and beverages manufacturer?
Yeah, I was, I had my own video business, like I said, which it wasn't paying the bills great. And, where I was, had my own business, and then I was driving up to Akron, Ohio a couple times a week to edit video for another company up there. I was delivering the newspaper in the middle of the night. I kind of had three jobs at once. And my youngest brother was just graduating college, and he got a job as an accountant for Pitt University, and he was there for a couple months and just didn't care for it. And my other brother, he was a CPA and was just burnt out. And at the time, I think I was like 31, and they were like 29 and 22 or something. And we were just like, let's just buy a bar. I don't know. Let's get out of what we're doing and at least work together. And we knew we could count on each other. We don't fight, we don't bicker. We all have really great skill sets that I think work off of one another and with each other. And we're like a three-headed monster kind of when it comes to business and getting things done. But again, we don't come from a big background of business or a lifestyle growing up. We grew up fairly poor, and have just put our heads down and busted our humps, and just try to stay out of trouble and do the right things.
Well, and that's a story that's tried and true of the mantra and kind of the mission of Pittsburgh. I mean, it's
right.
It's a grind, and a good grind.
Right.
Nobody's afraid to roll up their sleeves and get the job done.
No, it's a very prideful town, and that's I think I'm fueled on pride, and that might be a bad thing. I don't know, but that's how I get down the road, and so I think our company really fits in this region. I always looked at, when I said to you earlier, like, how did this company not exist? So I've always approached it as if it has, like it's been here for 100 years, and I just kind of work for the company, and I envision it being here for another 100 years. I want to be the Guinness of pickles. Just keep it going. I don't see many more people starting a pickle company in this country. It was a crazy thing to try to start in the first place. Keeping it going is insane. And I just don't see people's desire to work in kind of an old world labor kind of force in this, especially with pickles. It's kind of an old school thing, this idea of canning and shelf stable products and fermentation. And so I don't know, I guess I kind of like having the responsibility of being that local guy that, wears that hat. Like I'm the pickle guy. I didn't go to school for that. I never dreamt of that, but I'll wear that hat with pride.
Absolutely. And I see here, as far as anybody listening here that doesn't live in that area or in some of those, in the Giant Eagle or the Fine Woods Wine and Spirits. Also, I just noticed on that you guys are on Amazon as well.
We sell off through Amazon. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Like I'm still so much in the day to day, making products and cleaning things up, and it's hard to kind of get out of that. And I really do want to get out of that. I'm getting older. I'm 44 now, and my body is paying the price for the years of doing this. But it's weird at the same time. As much as it's beat me up, it kind of saved my life too. 5 years ago, I was getting heavier. We owned bars. We're around beer and alcohol and bar food. And I could just tell, like, our company was growing, and I thought to myself, how am I going to be able to keep up with this? And I don't know. I just my desire to make sure the company survived and kept going really changed me and got me to really reevaluate my lifestyle and my diet and just everything in general. So it's in a weird thing to think, creating this business because Pittsburgh needs a pickle company, how in turn it could kind of save your life too, which is, it's an interesting endeavor.
Well, and that's powerful in itself. And also, anytime seeing some sort of a family dynamic, that's a special bond to create a company together or a product. And I think that's something that if you can confidently sit back and say, you guys are, like you said, a three-headed monster is a powerful thing. And a lot of times that can be a deterioration of a relationship, trying to do with the stress that's involved with starting a business and managing a business. But to hear the way you speak about it, that's just it's a really amazing story that you have.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say I'm a business guy. I get it, I can do it, but I've always looked at business as another way of saying busyness. But if I'm going to be here, I'm going to put my, like I said, best foot forward, and make it fun. Where, like, again, I don't necessarily look at it as a business. I look at it as a very creative opportunity. I look at it as a study in brotherhood. How to do this and not mess up a family. Like it's a big balance. It's a tall task, and I don't know. What are you going to do in life? You got to do something. So I don't know. I like to bite off a lot and see how much I can chew.
Nice. And one kind of parting feeling here. I always like to kind of ask people a certain little parting question, but mine for you would be any sort of lesson or a simple thing for someone right now that's listening to this or anywhere else and on YouTube or Googling and trying to figure out taking a product to market, whether it be food and beverage or anything. What would be your advice? It would be what simple statement there?
Yeah, you at this stage, you really got to think outside of the box.
Yep.
I always like to say I think outside of the jar. But
Nice.
I know this. I know there's nothing new under the sun. So everything is rebranding. Everything. So it's finding the mundane and turning it on, making it be bigger than what it was sitting there doing nothing. When we make the pickles, they come down the line and there's no label on them. It just looks like a jar of pickles that anyone and their mother could have made. But as soon as that comes down the labeler, and that labeler gets slapped on there, it comes out the other end looking like $1 million. It is a Pittsburgh pickle. So like to try to go from A to B and all your thoughts of whatever you're doing, picturing that mundane thing and dressing it up and presenting it in such a way that the customer at the end of the day has to compare it to the rest of them, and they have no choice because they know that one in their hand is better than the rest.
John, that might have been the best answer I've gotten.
That was great.
Take care. Have a great week.
Likewise. Talk soon.
Take care. Are you looking for a way to grow your business, reach new customers, and increase your sales? If so, you need the FreeMind Group. Founded in 2008 and a provider of creative and strategic solutions for the food and beverage industry. Whether you need branding, marketing, product development, or innovation, the FreeMind Group can help you achieve your goals and unleash your potential. Visit our website at thefreemindgroup.com and get a free consultation today. Thank you for listening and see you next time.